Three, two, one, and we're live for a new episode of the Electrek podcast. I am Fred Lambert, your host, and as usual, I'm joined by Seth Wintraub. We have a nice hat today, Seth.
Thank you.
Is that available in the Electrek store, merch store?
Yeah, I believe so.
Perfect. All right. I want to thank SAE International for sponsoring this week's episode of the Electrek podcast. You can join the mobility community in Detroit from April 18th to the 20th for WCX, the largest technical mobility event in North America. You can register right now. We have a link in the show notes, but we're going to have a little bit more to say about SAE and the WCX show later on the show. But it's going to be a great event, and thanks to SAE for sponsoring this week's episode of the Electrek podcast. All right, we're going to jump into the news. We have a few Tesla news we want to cover first. A lot of follow-up on what happened in the last few weeks, especially when it comes to Supercharger V4, where we have actual concrete information about the new charging technology rather than just the images of the first station coming up. Then we're going to jump into just a few tiny bits of Tesla news, then big Volkswagen news this week. And I'm going to finish up with great news about Aptera too before jumping into your comments and your questions. So if you guys have any questions, the show is live. Nothing is edited. We're live. You can ask us questions about whatever topics in the EV community on renewable energy you want to discuss, or specific question about any items that we discussed today on the show. Well, let's jump in with Supercharger V4 power output, rated powered output. So the first station officially launched this week in the Netherlands. You see an official picture from Tesla right here. So as usual for Tesla, well, not usual for Tesla Supercharger, because if you remember when the V3 was launched, they actually had like a rare press release here. It's rare that you see a press release from Tesla, but they had one for that, and they explained the whole thing. But V3 was probably, between V2 and V3 was probably a bigger jump than between V3 and V4. So now they just said, hey, here's the first station, and they don't tell us any details on it other than the fact that it is a longer cable, which we already knew. And that's a big deal on its own. We'd already discussed, especially as Tesla moved to opening the stations to other electric vehicles than their own. Then the charge port is not always positioned in the right position. Always having a longer cable can rectify that for the most part, but it's not that much longer either. So I would assume that some EVs might have issues, but we'll see. Now, the fact that the station was launched resulted in some people actually visiting it and poking around a little bit, including Esther. Oh my God, sorry for your last name, Kokelmans. So, sorry if I'm butchering your last name, but they saw the electrical specs on the stall, and it confirms 1,000 volts at 615 amps. Which would result in a max power output of about 600 kilowatts, or more than twice the rated output of the previous generation. So a major jump. But of course, max rated output is not necessarily what you're going to maintain continuously. And in case of an electric vehicle charging station, most of the time the limitation is on the vehicle side nowadays. It didn't used to be like that when 90% of the stations out there were 50 kilowatts. But these days, with a lot of like 300, 250, 300 plus kilowatt station, for the most part, the limitation is on the vehicle side, especially once you get past 20, 30% state of charge. The max rated output is basically not achievable at that point anyway. But this is a good indication that Tesla is future-proofing its charging network. If 600 kilowatts is what it is right now, it means that you're going to see vehicles gradually be able to accept higher power output, leading to potentially eventually 600 kilowatts. What do you think, Seth?
Well, it's obviously good, but not many vehicles can take advantage of that right now. And I think Tesla's probably limiting it as a kind of test higher and higher outputs. Also, I mean, I don't know if this is going to have anything to do with the Cybertruck and the charging output there. I feel like that might be a big deal for the Cybertruck.
Yeah, they confirmed that it's going to be 1,000 volt, right? Already?
Something like that. I feel like they said something very high.
No, they said it was megawatt. They because that was the
I feel like
announced
that was
with
the semi
the
was
Tesla
megawatt.
Semi, yeah. But they said that the Cybertruck is gonna have the same capacity, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Yeah. No, definitely this is like, because right now in Tesla's current lineup, it probably won't change anything other than maybe for the new Model S and X. There's been rumors new Model X and X could take up to 300 kilowatts. So having the station be over 250 would maybe enable that, but we haven't been able to confirm that yet. And like you just said, maybe Tesla is limiting that too right now.
Also, what do you make of this coming out in Europe first?
I mean, they need it a lot more because there's already hundreds of stations in Europe that are open to non-Tesla electric vehicles.
Right.
So they need that longer cable
cable.
solution more than we do. So yeah, that makes sense. I would. Speaking of, did they say here where it's manufactured? Yeah, I think they do. They do say it right here. I think I see U.S. Because I was thinking, like, where is it coming from? Is it coming from China or is it coming from the U.S.? Manufactured by Tesla in Buffalo. No, those are U.S. made. So Tesla has started Supercharger V4 in Buffalo. So yeah, you would think that it would make more sense to deploy them in the U.S. first. But no, they make it to Europe. Like I said, probably because they just need it more.
The longer cable.
Yeah.
All right. Well, these will be able to charge like the Hummer EV goes at 350 kilowatts and more. I wonder if these will be able to charge those at very high rates.
Yeah, so obviously now these stations are also like CCS directly on the connector, because that's CCS Type 2 or CCS 2, I should say. That Type 2. That Type 2 is another connector. So these any vehicle equipped with CCS would be able to connect to it. In the US, it's going to be, because the Hummer is not available in Europe, is it? Right? No, and GM doesn't even sell in Europe anymore. Right?
Yeah. I don't think it would even be legal in Europe. Like,
yeah, or very popular either. Like this is. Can you imagine you're an American moving to Europe and you decide to move in with your Hummer EV just to make sure people know that you're American? Yeah, but so yeah, in the US you would have the Magic Dock instead to support that. So I don't know if the Magic Dock is like rated for the same amount of power that the 600 kilowatts that this is able to put out. So that there's like different bottlenecks when you're charging an electric vehicle. There's a bottleneck at the vehicle itself, a bottleneck at the connector, the protocol, and then the actual power station powering the stack. So there's a lot of failure points here. All right. Speaking of all, we're going to stay on charging for a bit because Tesla has an update to its mobile app, and a lot of it has to do with charging. And the update is 4.19, came out yesterday. And so the biggest one here in terms of the user side of things right now, because there's a bigger update, but it's not on the consumer-facing side just yet. It's a little bit more granular information about your battery capacity and the status of your battery, especially in cold weather. The winter is over. It's a great timing, but when you get into your car and it's been sitting outside in the cold for a while, you get less energy capacity in your battery pack because of that. And Tesla would actually show it to you that there's less capacity, but not in a precise way. Now, apparently, Tesla says that it will display the portion of the battery that is unavailable due to the battery pack's cold temperature directly in the charging slider. So this is the example here. So the blue thing here is the actual affected capacity, not just letting you know that you have less capacity. So that's interesting. And obviously, part of that is because your battery is actually eating up to get to the optimal performance to get there. So the battery pack is using its own capacity to balance its own temperature in order to perform best. So you need that. Also, you have these ticks here. They're displayed for 10% interval. You used to have them if you were moving the slider. So if you were actually changing them. But now you see them without that, which is actually a good UI change in my opinion, because you unless you would actually look at the percentage, you didn't actually know where you set it up. You should keep track of that. Obviously, when you move it, like I moved it because I want to stay at 80. I keep mine between 80 or 90 unless I know I'm going on the road on a long distance road trip. So it's optimal for your long-term longevity of your battery pack.
Do you have trouble on the car or on the app moving the slider? I'm always like, maybe it's because my
Yeah.
hands are cold or whatever, but
Yeah, sometimes I'm fat fingering it a little bit, but
it's
yeah,
really hard
it's
for me.
yeah. I had some issues. Yeah, I haven't tried with this new update. Maybe this new update makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah, hopefully.
Not on the car as much, but I don't move it too much on the car. The only time I do move it on the car is when you get to a supercharger station and it forces you to be at 80 and you have to manually put it back to
Right.
100.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only time I touch it in the car, basically. All right. Also, new charging membership that are coming. So we knew that was coming primarily for non-Tesla vehicle charger, but Tesla writes in the release note, in addition to manage payment and history, there is now a new membership option to manage your membership for charging non-Teslas. In this menu, you'll be able to sign up, cancel, or renew your charging membership. The charging membership, you lower your price per kilowatt or kilowatt hour, that should be, at superchargers for non-Tesla, although there's a 5 session limit per day. So yeah, so Tesla is trying to eliminate like commercial use, like taxis and all that. But these membership do lower your. So if you're gonna be using the supercharger often as a non-Tesla user, and you want to get charge prices that are closer to Tesla, which Tesla charge Tesla users, you can get that. And finally, the last one, probably the biggest one, is this drive on sunshine feature that allows you to allows Tesla owners that have home solar power system to charge their vehicle with excess power. So this is something that we've seen Tesla work on lately a lot, which is what we call controllable load. So there's been a lot of talk about bidirectional charging and how Tesla is not very hyped on that. And one of the reasons why they're not so hyped on it is they think that there's way more value in controlling the load, so which we call controllable load. So one big example of that is we reported last month or earlier this month is that Tesla is going to launch unlimited charging overnight for $30 a month under their Tesla electric plan. So that's simply moving a load, in this case, the load of electric vehicle charging on the grid from the day to at night when you have excess power. But you can also have excess solar power during the day because obviously there's none at night and no solar power. I mean, but you during the day, especially in the middle of the day, when you're not actually using a lot of electricity at home, it might make sense at peak power to divert that a little bit, and then instead of either sending it to the grid or sending it to your power wall or whatever you use your excess power with, it could make sense financially to send it to your car instead if your car can take it. So Tesla is building. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. Tesla is building a feature specifically for that, where you say you can plug in your vehicle at home during the day to charge using the excess linear energy generated by your solar system. So you're going to be able to match with more than one actually solar system. So it might actually work for like if you have solar power at work, and Tesla can actually monitor that for some reason. Sounds like it would work primarily with Powerwall though, because you need some kind of a brain of your solar system that Tesla has access to. And yeah, that's it. You just when that power comes in, instead of going back to the grid or going to a power wall or any kind of home battery pack, it goes to your car, and you can drive on sunshine. Hence the name.
So why would you need this? Versus like doing net metering. Is that for people who don't have net metering? Do you think, or do you think it's for
Yeah, yeah.
just
It would
efficiency?
be
Maybe.
either that or whatever you get paid for your electricity. Like there's some net metering that are not that advantageous money wise. So if you can use it rather than send it back, I know like here in Quebec, like we have electricity so cheap that they're not like tripping over themselves to buy back your electricity, which is why we don't have any solar power here. So it makes more sense to like you want to use every bit of energy that you produce yourself. So
Right.
in those situations, it would make sense to do that. But yeah,
Okay.
I get your point. It's like if you're in California and a lot of those market where they pay you like 30, 40, a lot, sometimes like decent
I mean,
amount.
it's just basically it runs your meter backwards. So, like, you're going to use the electricity one way or the other.
It's nice to be appreciated.
That was weird. It just runs your meter backwards. So, you're getting credit. It's not
Yeah.
about like money in, money out. It's just you get charged less at the end of the month. So
unless you're completely powered by your own, like you're completely, but not off grid, but you're always in excess basically. Like I did a report on that actually last week, and this Tesla owner in Hawaii has a solar roof and power walls and a giant Tesla solar with 50 kilowatts
that's
of
crazy.
power. You can imagine the house on this guy. 50 kilowatts is just insane. So obviously they produce more than they consume, and they get paid back $350 a month from the electric utility. So they are the electric utility.
Yeah, I was going to say it's almost like a like a solar farm.
Yeah. Actually, they do that through Powerwall too, because they have like I think 8 Powerwall or something like that.
Crazy.
On this installation, and that's with Swivel. Swivel as a huge, well, I say huge, it's getting huge virtual power plant operating in Hawaii, the Big Island. Okay. Gigafactory Berlin news. We get some Berlin news here. Tesla is applying to expand the production capacity to be authorized, I should say, because they're not quite there yet. Right now, they are authorized for 500,000 vehicles per year, and they are slowly but surely getting there. Last we heard, they were at 4,000 a week, but they could be getting close to 5,000 any day now. So they're already looking at expanding the capacity because it's probably safe to do it sooner rather than later, considering what happened the first time. Tesla has run into a lot of red tapes in Germany. They've been fighting environmental groups that have been trying to slow down the projects for a while now. We reported last week on some criminal allegations, like they said that it's getting to a criminal level now. But I don't know exactly. I'm not obviously familiar with the legal system in Germany, and I've never heard of. Because they said they were filing criminal charges. So I don't know how a group can file criminal charging in a group. Most legal system that I know of, only the government can charge up criminal charges. Anyway, so now they are already applying to get to 1 million units per year. And in the application, there's some silver lining in terms of how smooth things could get, because one of the bigger points that the environmental groups have been fighting Tesla over when it comes to Gigafactory Berlin is the water usage. So they have been worried that Tesla would use too much water at the factory, because the factory is huge and it's a rural area. So it's they are afraid that they would consume all the water for all the other residents and companies around. But Tesla is claiming in this new application that they can get to 1 million units, so they can get authorized 1 million units with the same water usage that they are already approved for the 500,000 units. So this is good news if it's actually accurate, and would remove one of the big contingency point, the point of contention, I should say. What is it? Is that saying all right? Like
Point of contention.
Point of contention between Tesla and the environmental groups. 1 million units, like that's basically what Tesla wants all its gigafactories to be at soon enough.
So that's 4 million per year with the current factories. Then add Mexico 5 million.
Yeah, maybe Shanghai could be higher than 1 million.
Yeah,
though, like the way it's been going, I wouldn't be surprised.
And they're adding on and stuff.
Fremont, maybe no, though. Maybe Fremont would be maybe a little bit harder to get to 1 million. I think it's at 600,000 right now, and it's so full. It's just incredibly full.
Yeah, and they build Model S and X, which are probably a little bit more complicated.
Yeah, lower volume. All right, Model S Plaid. No official announcement from Tesla just yet, but as official as as close to be official as it gets, because it's coming from Sebastian Vettel, not Vettel. So not the F1 driver, but still a race car driver, well known. I've been used by Tesla officially before for test drives, so we know that he has a connection with Tesla. And in this case, he's been invited in France to test drive a Model S Plaid with the new ceramic brakes upgrade, the $20,000 brake upgrades that we thought was the last piece needed for Tesla to actually deliver on this long time promise to achieve over 200 miles per hour top speed in the Model S Plaid, it was um, limited at first at 163 miles per hour, which is 262 kilometers per hour when it first launched in 2021. Then last year, Tesla released a track mode update, purely software, that increased the top speed to 175 miles per hour. Still insane, by the way. So we're complaining about not getting to 200 miles per hour, but
Right.
let's be honest, it's pretty rare you're going to get to 175. Maybe if you drive on the Autobahn a lot, but other than that, I know some Tesla owners like to bring their cars to the test track, to the racetrack and whatnot. But anyway, we did see actually a Model S achieve 200 miles per hour. I've witnessed it myself, not too far from where I live in Trois-Rivières. We rented the airport, and the team at Nginx that already are offering things that unlock features in Tesla vehicle that are software locked, because again, the capacity on the powertrain side of things is there. It's just Tesla is not unlocking it because it thinks that people will kill themselves if they don't have the brakes to do it. So Nginx upgraded the brakes themselves to bigger brakes, and then with their software, they were able to unlock the speed limiter. And on the tarmac at the airport, they reached 216 miles per hour, 348 kilometers an hour. It was insane. Like you guys need to go check out the video that we posted. It's been seen by millions of people already. The sound of an electric car flying by you at that kind of speed, it's mind-blowing. Anyway, that was not official from Tesla. Obviously, that was a Tesla owner, Nginx. Nginx thought a little bit of offering it to people because they can just do it. They just need the little modules, you plug it in, and that's it. But of course, they wouldn't be responsible for people actually upgrading their brakes before doing it.
Right.
And it would be a big liability. So they decided not to do it at
Did
the end.
Nginx upgrade their brakes?
Yeah, they did. They
Okay.
I think the mounted pass. One of the Tesla tuners sent them some brakes to, and even then, like you could feel the car could go higher than that. Could probably hit like 230 miles per hour, but they were running out of tarmac to brake. So
That's crazy.
So Guillaume, the owner of Nginx, was driving the car. He had to stop there. But you can see in the video from the inside, you can see when you started to slow down, it was still going up pretty easy. Anyway, now Sébastien Vettel on the on this circuit, the Circuit de Bresse in France, he did a new record lap with those with a Model Plaid that was also software limited top speed unlock, and with these new ceramic brakes, and he reached a new record, 1 minute 33 seconds for which is the new fastest lap for a street legal vehicle, because that Model S Plaid is still street legal. Doesn't have like semi-slick tires or anything like that, just street legal tires with the brake upgrade and now the removal of the speed limiter. And he did say, though we didn't see it in the video, he did say that he achieved 350 kilometers an hour, 217 miles per hour. So he just beat the record from Nginx by 1 mile.
You think that was accidental?
I would doubt that. But then he also claimed there's other videos out there, other people that claim that they actually reached 233 miles per hour, but I haven't seen any proof of that yet. Though Vettel did say that there's going to be soon some videos coming out of Nuremberg. So
that's interesting because
so
Porsche owns that record right now.
Yeah, so Tesla and Porsche have been like trading records on there for electric vehicles, I should say, and like production electric vehicles, I think, is the specific category that they're doing. Yeah, it's so I would assume that Tesla has broken the record again and is going to unveil it too. That's what Sébastien seems to be hinting at. Though it wasn't exactly forthcoming with that information, but he did release his own video of this new track record at the Circuit de Bresse.
And of course, Porsche has a tri-motor thing coming.
Yep.
Lucid's got a tri-motor thing.
Yep.
So it'll just be going back and forth for a while.
Yep. All right. We want to say a quick word about SAE and the WCX show.
Yes. This week's episode is sponsored by SAE International, hosts of the WCX World Congress Experience event. For 2023, WCX is set to return to Detroit from April 18th to 20th at Huntington Place. As the largest technical mobility event in North America, WCX brings together thousands of engineers, suppliers, and mobility professionals to exchange ideas, discuss today's challenges, and build powerful relationships to move your career and the industry forward. Join the community, the global community, in the Motor City this April to stay up to date on the latest technological advances, participate in the roundtable discussions, and network with the brightest minds in the industry. Gain a competitive advantage and meet the people shaping the future of mobility. Visit wcx.sae.org to register now, and we have a link in the show notes.
Yes, thank you, SAE, for sponsoring the show this week. We're going to have a few more news items to discuss right now, but then we're going to jump into your comments and your questions, which I already see a bunch of comments right there. But we're going to have time for a few more. So if you guys have any questions for us, you can put them in the comment section right now, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. Do we? No, we don't get the comments from LinkedIn, do we?
Nope.
No, okay. So that's it. Facebook and YouTube, we get the comments, but we're also live on Twitter and LinkedIn. Moving on to Volkswagen. So Volkswagen has been teasing us with this cheaper entry-level electric vehicle that they're planning to launch. If you've been following it, there's been the ID Life concept that was unveiled. That was in IAA last year, or was it the year before that?
No, I think it was last year.
Yeah,
Maybe
last year.
Yeah.
So the ID Life was supposed to be the basis for this cheaper electric vehicle. It still looked pretty cool. It still looked like a little bit retro, really square, but still reminiscent of the ID3, which is currently the entry-level electric vehicle from VW. But this new concept that was unveiled today, and it's still a concept. It's not a vehicle. It looks to be like an iteration of that ID Life, closer to a production version, and it's not called the ID2. So, being the is it called the ID2 All?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I missed that.
Yeah,
ID2
it's weird.
All. Yeah, that's weird. No, don't do that, Volkswagen.
Well, they had mentioned last time we talked to Volkswagen, they were like, you know what, we're kind of tired of going to these, ID1, ID2, ID3. We want to inject some more life into these names. So why don't they call it like the ID Golf or just the Golf, or back to the e-Golf or something?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it would make a lot more sense. But at the same time, it's not as easy as that either, because Volkswagen is one of them that they also have like the same model in different markets with different names too. So they're really complicating like we have here a popular SUV that they have. It's called a Tiguan. Like it's just a horrible name. Like, and do you have it in the US?
Yeah, we got the Tiguan.
There in English. You call it like what was it called?
Tiguan? I think it's called the Tiguan.
Tiguan too. Tiguan. It's such a weird name.
Yeah. All
right. But now we have the ID2 All, and it's gonna be the straight up announced the price that they are aiming to have it at 25,000 euros. They're only talking about euros, so that might mean that it's not aimed at the North American market. 25,000 euros is about $27,000 USD. So that's something that we're still keeping a close eye on, because obviously the ID3 launched in Europe and never launched in North America, so we're concerned that we have. But at the same time, if they want to hit that price point, they need to hit some incredible volume, incredible economies of scales, and to achieve that, I would assume that they are going to want to have a supply chain that goes far and deep, and hopefully that includes the North American market. Nice range, 450 kilometers. That's 279 miles of range. Obviously, that would be any WLTP for European market, but still you can rest assured that even on the EPA would be over 200 miles, which is what you want normally, like to hit at least for an entry-level vehicle like that. I mean, at $27,000, especially if you still had the $7,500 federal tax credit, that's a less than $20,000 vehicle. Like, you cannot complain very much about anything. A bit bland on the side. I mean, this picture had me concerned a little bit. It's not a super good looking car in my opinion. I know you guys liked it a little more. Said you didn't mind it.
This
is not too bad though. This is not too bad on this side view.
Yeah. So what really got me was the like, hey, we're not going to mention that the Chevy Bolt is the same price and the same, better range, and it's available now. I mean, obviously, GM isn't making a ton of money, if not losing money on every
Yeah.
Bolt sold. But
It's not
to
making a
me,
lot of them too.
yeah, it's not. They could,
Yeah.
they could try to sell more, but um, it's like Volkswagen's out here saying, hey, we're going to make this vehicle for $26,000 or $27,000, and it's going to go 200 some miles, and it's a hatchback form factor. And I'm like, well, we've had the Chevy Bolt since like 2017. Pretty much the same idea. You know what? First of all, like what the heck is GM doing not selling those in Europe, because they would go like hotcakes? But also, like, why not up the ante a little bit? And I guess that's kind of what the next story is. It's a even more affordable one, but um, I don't know. It seems fine. I guess the Equinox will be similarly priced in the U.S. as well. So
Much bigger car though, the
yeah,
Equinox. No? We don't have that many specs here included. Okay. The drive motors over 200 horsepower,
yeah.
166 kilowatts. For
That's
that size, it's perfectly adequate.
that's.
Under 7 seconds.
I would say it's more than adequate. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
it's
that's fair.
surprisingly high.
0 to 80% in less than 20 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, that's also very good. Yeah, again, not too many details, but enough to get us a little bit excited. And then right after this news came out, this concept unveiling, there was. Oh, am I okay with that? Yeah. Then there was this that came out from Volkswagen. Well, Volkswagen and this is Autocar. So what happens when there's these unveilings like that? Normally there's like some kind of media roundtable, and then some journalists try to get a little bit more information out of it. And Autocar managed to get some more information that logically, if you have an ID2, then you have also an ID3 and an ID4, and then where's the ID1? And Volkswagen apparently confirmed to Autocar that there's going to be an ID1, so an even smaller, even cheaper entry-level electric vehicle from Volkswagen that's going to start at around 17,000 euros. That's just about 20,000 USD. So that's starting to be like extremely low price. Like even gasoline cars, you don't get a lot of new gasoline cars around that price.
Yeah, and if there's still $7,500 tax credit in the U.S., that would be interesting to sell a $10,000 car. Obviously, that's unlikely to make it over here, but
Yeah,
similarly, there's rebates all over the world. Although this car the ID1 idea might be something for more like BRIC countries, Brazil, India,
exactly. A lot of developing markets that have been left behind when it comes to electrification.
right?
So this is an opportunity to bring those markets into the electric world. No timing really on that. Speaking of, I should say, timing on the production version of the VW ID2 or 2 All or whatever it's going to be. Is it 2026? Not sure if that's model year or is actually the year that's going to come out. So 2025, 2026 is what you should expect. All right, a few more news items to discuss, and then we are into your comments, into your questions. So be ready for that. But we're going to move on from Volkswagen to Kia, and Kia has been really like trickling, slowly releasing bit by bit new information, new images, new specs about the IV9, which is an EV9. Excuse me. EV9, Kia EV9, which is going to be like one of the most anticipated like full-size SUVs to come to market. North American market very hungry for
For
full-size
sure.
SUV.
Yeah.
So electric, fully electric, there's just not that much options out there. There's some smaller SUV options, but on the bigger side, there's not that many. So especially something for Kia that would be probably not crazy expensive, like the Model X or the R1S from Rivian. It's something that people are very excited about. So, what is the swivel seat? Is the one that the thing that caught people attention, but it's basically the new images to start with here.
I think
It's
it looks
very sleek
great.
looking. Like,
Yeah.
look at that. we discussed it last week or the week before that, but it is impressive. Like it's looking a lot closer to the prototype than we thought it was. I don't know about those wheels. What do you think about
Uh,
those wheels?
yeah, probably option. But
Yeah,
we're going to see a full version of this thing at the New York Auto Show in next month. So
yeah,
that
in
should be
just a few
interesting. And I
weeks.
think the interior pictures are scroll down a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's where
that's
that
sweet.
swivel seat comes in.
That's sweet. That's nice. 3 rows. People love that. Oh,
Boom.
okay, okay.
Got the little
Yeah,
limousine thing going on in there.
yeah. I don't hate it.
You keep the kids back there. They don't.
Yeah. So this is, I assume, a picture as you turn it around. I don't think that's a position you want to be in once the
Probably not.
car is going. You see it flat, completely flat, almost completely flat. Once you have both rows down, it's a nice looking car. Yeah,
It's big. When Americans love huge
yeah,
honking vehicles, so I think this will be sold out for quite a while, and I think it's also going to probably take some of Rivian's thunder with the R1S.
we don't have actual pricing on this just yet.
They had mentioned when they unveiled it that they were hoping to start it out at $50,000. I imagine that's going to be like a 2-row version with, rear wheel drive, 210 miles of range, that kind of thing, super neutered. And, the one we're looking at right now is probably going to be 80 or something.
That's the full jacked up version, no doubt about it. Yeah, I'm excited for this one. I'm excited for those like that. Even though like I'm not just a big SUV guy or anything like that, I'm excited for things that can move the needle and can like,
Yeah.
because you have a lot of people right now like yeah. I mean, you guys convinced me and for an electric vehicle, but I have like 3-4 kids and like we have like gym bags for when they have their football practice or whatever. Like when we need a full size SUV, I'm like, all right, it's coming. They're coming.
Yeah, and wasn't Hyundai going to have like a Hyundai Ioniq 7 that's going to be similar to that? I feel like.
Yeah, probably that would make sense. Well, Hyundai and Kia, like they don't like talk about it too much there.
Right.
As close as it gets to be the same company, but
Right.
not exactly. Not exactly. I don't want to get an email from a PR representative either. We love them both. We love the Koreans. We love the South Koreans. They make great products. All right, very excited about this too. We don't go into like just straight up financial news too often on the podcast, but when it comes to Aptera closing the deal on a 21 million grant, a grant here from the California Energy Commission for specifically for manufacturing electric solar vehicles in the state of California. So this is a big deal because obviously Aptera. All right, no. Sorry, Aptera was trying to raise money. It is raising money. They've been doing it through this accelerator program that they call it, where they've been doing a lot of crowdfunding. But they open up the crowdfunding where the more you invest, the higher your chance is going to be to get one of the solar cars sooner. And they've managed to raise over 8 million through that over the last month or so. So that's great. But it's bringing a vehicle to market. Even though I'm excited about, one of the main reasons I'm excited about Aptera is that it is not an actual car, even though we call it a solar car. It is classified as a trike, as a 3-wheel vehicle, and it's closer to a motorcycle, really, in terms of regulation than it is to a car. So that removes a ton of red tape in order to bring it to market, a lot less expensive to do. So that's why I'm a little bit more hyped about Aptera than I am about Atlas or name whatever crowdfunded EV projects. So I'm a little bit more excited about that. Yeah,
it's kind of the only 3-wheeled vehicle still like. Well, I don't know. I mean, Saunders got rid of their 3-wheeler. Electromechanica is not doing too hot right now.
Yeah. Same for the other one in Oregon. What was it?
The FUV, FUV.
Yeah.
That's having some troubles. I mean, Aptera doesn't have a straight shot into profitability, but they just have so many fans that are pumping money into the company that I feel like they have something here. And
now they have $21 million grand. Like it's not money that they owe, anything like that.
Right.
So that's going to be helpful here. I think it's still closer to like 50, $100 million that you need overall to bring a vehicle like that to market. But they already raised, I think, over 40 or $50 million at this point, other than this 21 million. So
Yep.
they have a real shot right now at bringing this thing to market. And if they do, it's gonna be fun. Just it's not gonna be like a super big like difference maker in terms of electrification, but it is like we just talked about Tesla Drive on Sunshine and everything. This is the best
The real drive on
representation.
sunshine.
Yeah, it's the best representation of like Drive on Sunshine because you literally have up to 15-30 miles of range per day just from the solar cells on that vehicle itself. It's more romantic than anything else because obviously if you want to drive on sunshine, you're more efficient if your solar cells on a rooftop or something like that than it
Right.
is on an actual car. But so I'm a little bit conflicted about it because I love efficiency. I want to have the most efficient solution always. But there is something romantic about the idea of like this car is autonomous, basically. Like it's produced its own electricity on which it rides for the most part. Obviously, you can charge it too, and probably for most people, charging is going to be a big part of powering this vehicle. But I said I like efficiency, and that also is an efficient car itself. If you remove the solar on it, if you just talked about aerodynamic performance, weight, and all that, like that it is one of the most. It's probably going to be. I mean, again, we cannot say a car because it's not a car, so we cannot say it's the most efficient car out there. But it's closest thing to a car that is much more efficient than anything else, even like a Model 3 or.
Yeah, even like that Mercedes EQXX
Yeah,
or the
good example. Yeah.
Lightyear, the other solar thing, it's way more efficient. I think they were telling us that the whole vehicle has better aerodynamics, use less wind than a F-150 side mirror, one side mirror. So that
I
to me
mean,
is like,
F-150 can have like a pretty big sign mirror too.
yes, but
Yeah,
it's
still
it's
it's
just
it's impressive.
really impressive. Yeah.
All right, that's it for all the news this week. So it was a pretty quick one. We can jump into you guys' comments and questions right now.
All right. Speaking of startups, any thoughts on Canoe and if you think they can actually make it to market? What's your latest thinking there?
I haven't been following them that closely, to be honest with you. I know that they are. I've been having a lot of fleet order more than anything else. Like I don't see a big like consumer uh, attractiveness on that. Like I know some people love it, like their van pickup style thing. But yeah, honestly, I'm not too hyped about it. I was just gonna say it like that.
Yeah, they got some, like, I guess, some NASA sponsorship things happening. It seems like they got some good hype, but you know, like, I don't think they have a mass market vehicle. I don't think they have uh, a lot of hype around them. So I don't know. It doesn't seem very likely that they'll make it to the other side. But we're rooting for all the
Yeah,
EV
hoping for
companies.
the best. Hoping for the best.
All right, David Pern, is Tesla of the opinion that hidden improvements will bring buyers to showrooms and thus substantially new looks aren't necessary? So I think David's kind of talking about how the Model S and the X look very similar to what they looked like for years. They haven't really been upgraded much. Same with the Model 3 and Y. What do you think?
If Tesla is of the opinion of the hidden improvement will bring buyers to the showroom and thus substantially new look aren't this? I mean, why would you want to go to the showroom right now for those if they're hidden? Like I don't, I'm a bit confused about the question, to be honest. Yeah, but for sure that no, it's not a big upgrade to the Model S and X right now. Like I mean the glass roof, like are you gonna really see like a big difference of the new glass roof that lets more light in, or um yeah, I just don't see it. It's a nice little incremental improvement, but I don't think I think the Model S and X is gonna do great in 2023, but that's because of the price cuts, not because of the slight hardware improvements.
Yeah. All right, Greg Poland question. My Model Y has an estimated delivery on March 31st.
Of course.
Good luck. Have you heard of anybody getting postponed any further?
I mean, they're gonna try. Like if you're March 31st, that's the last day of the quarter. They're gonna try, Greg, to deliver your car
They're going to
as best
probably
as
come
they
to your
could.
house and knock the door down to
Yeah,
get
yeah,
you
yeah.
in the
They're
car.
gonna want they're gonna deliver it to you because they want that signature so that they can claim that revenue. They can get that check. They can cash that check. So yeah, I wouldn't be too worried about that. I'd be more worried about the. I mean, to be fair, Tesla has made some improvement to not pushing too hard for these end of quarter delivery push. So, if, for example, if they are really tight on trailers, on the car trailers to bring cars out, and people start charging them like excessive amount of money to do it, they might decide to postpone it. I don't know.
All right, moving on. EV Edition. What are your thoughts on EV stocks? What companies do you think will do the best? I don't think we've talked about like general EV stocks in a while. So, and I know you have that Zalcon Substack that you do.
Yeah, but I haven't been posting a lot on that just because of like the markets right now. I wouldn't encourage anyone to invest that much in the market, just because of how scary things are right now. So I wouldn't.
Buy T-bills.
What do you say?
Buy T-bills.
Yeah, the things that I'm more excited about when you come to like the companies themselves. If you're talking about companies selling electric vehicles, there's not that many I'm super excited about other than Tesla. I think Tesla's still going to do well. It's just a John gonna, but I'm more excited about material suppliers like nickel stock and lithium stock. I think there's a lot of growth there that can happen a little bit safer than brands, especially companies like Fisker or Canoe that we just talked about. Like these are a lot more fickle in my opinion, and they can go away pretty quickly. Um, Rivian and Lucid a little bit more exciting maybe because they are delivering vehicles and the products are good. The products are good. It's the financials that don't look good right now. So
But the stock prices are very low, so you don't have they can't go much lower.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's the only like upside to it. Like people don't see them going much lower, but at the same time, no one is completely invincible to bankruptcy. Like
Yeah.
the thing with Rivian and Lucid, because the products are so good, you would think that there could be a savior like waiting in the wings for both of them. A kind of Apple, maybe. I don't know.
Apple for Lucid, Amazon for Rivian. Those are the saviors.
Though there was something this week about Amazon talking to Rivian about, well, actually, I think this is Amazon like thinking, protecting Rivian, honestly, where they said that they could not, like right now, all the delivery
Right.
vans that Rivian is making, they're delivering them to Amazon, and they're losing a ton of money on them. So what came out this week is that apparently Rivian, Amazon talk, and they're like Amazon was like okay with Rivian not just delivering the vans to them, because Amazon has a stake in Rivian, and
Right.
they know that if the contract that they have like is very advantageous to Amazon. And if Rivian could deliver a part of those vans to other companies at a newly negotiated price that they don't lose money on, that would be a big deal. And now, again, our company is going to want those vans for twice or three times that price. I don't know. But they are, again, the product is nice, so you can maybe charge more for that, and it's getting some electric vans in your fleet. If you're a fleet manager, it's a big deal. It does lower your cost greatly. Next
All
one.
right. Green for St. Patrick's Day. Tesla should offer a green colored car for one day. Well, that would be quite expensive to retrofit their paint shop, but we are seeing some new colors coming out of Tesla. The red.
Ultra red.
I kind of miss the brown and the green though. Didn't they used to have a green, right?
You used
Model
to have a
S.
green. You used to have a brown. You used to have different silvers. Yeah, Uh, St. Patrick, you want a green? Like the green that Tesla had was not really a St. Patrick green, but
No.
happy St. Patrick to everyone out there, and especially the Irish friends out there.
All right, Jonathan Root, EV9 is the best looking third row EV, period. Hoping pricing isn't insane. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit. Obviously, best looking is subjective, but it's certainly, I think, I think a lot of readers have said, hey, they actually made a really good looking vehicle. It's not one of those things where they do a really good looking prototype and then they, a super bland final product. We're going to actually get a look at it at the New York Auto Show in about 2 weeks, I think. So, and I'll be honest with you, right now I'm waiting on an R1S. We put some money down on a Volvo EX90.
That's right.
But I'm thinking this might be the way to go for our big one. If, Rivian doesn't come through, like obviously Rivian's going to be much better off-roading. It's probably going to be
How often do you go off-roading, Seth?
Well, when I'm reviewing scooters, I go off. Anyway.
Oh, that's right. I saw you. Those
a
things are crazy.
silly trip.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You basically have, in the U.S. market, you have the X90, you have the R1S, Rivian, and now you have this, and it's pretty much it. And I feel like there's a lot of people in that marketplace. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Enjoying the show in Melbourne, Australia. Well, that's great. While waiting for a charger. Keep up the good work, gents.
Thank you,
That's
Chris.
awesome. A great article on CNBC about GM losing in China. Great article on Electrek on XPeng losing in China. GM, XPeng, everybody's losing in China.
Yeah, I know that XPeng didn't have the best quarter last quarter. It's not surprising. I mean, the Tesla price cuts in January has had an impact on the rest of the market. There's just no way around it.
Yep. All right. VW ID2 start production when? I think they said 2025. No hint at all how they will make such a low price car. Tesla shows how they will make a $25,000 car, but it does not show it. What a difference will Tesla paint?
I don't know what he's saying about the paint, but I do get the point about questioning how does VW get to that price point. Yeah, I mean, I think they are assuming a lot of supply chains improvement.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're gonna have to have some manufacturing efficiency improvements too. And I guess that's the difference that Ron is mentioning it. Like Tesla with their event earlier this month, they did show what they plan to do on the manufacturing side to do those improvements and achieve that. Now, it wasn't as clear as like the 4680 demonstration where they were like, all right, we get this percentage improvement in price there, this percentage improvement, da, da, da. It wasn't as precise as that. So it led us to assume that Tesla has some guesswork doing it. And there's always guesswork. It's
Sure.
always guesswork anyway. Now, Volkswagen hasn't been as forthcoming when it comes to that. But at the same time, Volkswagen has experience building cars on a high volume at that price point. They're not
Right.
electric. Now, the rest of the electric supply chain is going to come down at the same time, try to meet them at a certain point there. And to Volkswagen's credit, they are making the investment throughout the supply chains to help it get there. So they are not just like crossing their fingers and like, oh, hopefully the battery cost will come down to $90 a kilowatt hour by the time this car gets to market. No, they are making the investments to get it closer to there, at least to help out. So yeah, I'm hopeful on that front.
All right. Question about what cell type is VW using? Hyundai. I mean, I feel like a lot of companies now are diversifying their battery supply just so that one company doesn't kind of screw them over. But VW were they using No, they're using SK. No, in the US they're using.
I mean, they have a partnership with CATL, I think, in Europe now.
Okay.
And a few others. They have a bunch. But anyway, what cell type? I'm assuming chemistry. They're asking probably, and I would assume that this VW ID2 would be LFP. That at those price point, you're gonna have to use a iron phosphate based batteries.
Although it does charge pretty fast, so but
I mean, you can get
could
there
still do it.
too, I think, with
Yeah.
iron phosphate LFP.
All right, Greg Poland, FYI, was getting service down in Cypress, Texas, which is the Houston area, and there was at least over 100 Model Ys and 3s queued to be delivered.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Around this time of the quarter, like there's
Right.
that's when all the supply from Fremont and Texas gets to those delivery centers. It's that timing for the U.S. market.
Paul Panzer says 25,000 euros with 19% VAT is more like 20,000 euros.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know if they did account for that in there. And normally in Europe, you do have to put the pricing out there, but when you're not actually selling the car, I don't know. Like it's just, we'll see. Makes sense though.
All right. To compete with the VinFast VF9. Okay, so that's another, I think,
Yes, Sylvain is
three.
hyped about the VinFast. I'm not as hyped as him about like.
We took a drive in one in Los Angeles. They weren't super impressive. But whatever. The Koreans are great at technology. Kia, Hyundai, Genesis, which is all the same company, and Samsung. They are great. Yep. Did I trim my beard? I was trying to figure out why you look different. Yes, I did. Okay. Moving on.
Your great question. Lion and Tiger. Yeah, those. If you want to talk about low stocks, those are low stock. I cannot recommend them though. Again, because of the market right now, the way it is, I cannot. I'm not going to tell anyone to go buy them, but they are excessively cheap. Especially like Lion right now is in a situation where they could get a big chunk of that infrastructure bill money because they do have a factory in the U.S. now producing electric school buses.
Indiana, I think.
Yeah,
Illinois,
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, the school buses thing, man. Everybody wants an electric school bus now.
Yeah, so there's not that many companies right now that can be competing for those grants. So if they do get a big chunk of that, it could be a big difference maker, because I think right now they're trading at like $400 million or something for a company that is actually delivering hundreds of school buses and trucks, electric school buses and trucks right now. So that's good. Taiga, I'm also very excited about them, but it's such a new technology that they're doing. They are doing it the best, though, for sure. When it comes to electric snowmobiles, there's a few options out there. When it comes to electric jet skis, watercrafts, there's a few options out there, but they are all mostly subpar to what you would get from gasoline ones, except for Taiga. Like Taiga, I think they already are a notch over, but it's super hard for a startup to ramp things up, and they're still at very low volume production. They have this big factory they're supposed to build here in Shawinigan, but they're waiting until they get to a few thousand units in Montreal first before they expand to a bigger factory. So until they can do that, it will remain a fairly small company. And the cash position keeps going down in the meantime. So it is something to watch out for. But I'm still pretty hype about both of them, and they are both from Quebec too, which is exciting.
It's Taiga. Could you see them being purchased by like Polaris or Kawasaki or something?
Yeah, or BRP, also based in Quebec. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't make sense because they have great technology. They are the leader by far when it comes to these specific small niche. Though they're $1 billion industry still, but smaller segments of transportation, or recreational transportation in this case.
And why do you think Lion is so cheap right now? If they have all these, possible things, is it just part of the industry downturn, or?
Yeah, I mean, like Rivian, they're still not making money on those trucks and those school buses, but they're getting a lot closer than Rivian, to be fair, a lot closer than Rivian. And they also, like, the ramp up is difficult, but they just started production at the factory in the US. So I would assume that the ramp up is going to be in the later half of this year. And then next year is going to be their big years in terms of actual deployment of new trucks. But I've been following the performance of their trucks closely, and they're doing great so far. So, and obviously that's going to be a huge market, the trucks on top of the school buses.
All right, Ryan Wiebe, have we heard what Tesla's plan is for pull-through charging with V4 for towing purposes. So you know how they have those chargers on the side? I
Yeah.
would imagine they're still going to put V4s on the side, or what do you think?
Yeah, that and also just probably like they want to do those chargers in the middle of a parking lot instead of like at the end of them, so that you can like you can pull through even more than the ones on the side. That would make a ton of sense. But again, that depends on the parking lot. Like you need a huge parking lot on that because you don't want. But those exist. Those are out there. Like you go to like a Walmart. You're gonna have to have different setup for those stations. You're gonna have to have like a Walmart type situation or one of those big truck stops and things like that. Like you're not gonna see that at the average charging station. But we're gonna need more of them. Like I know Tesla is working on that. We've seen some of the early. Plans for the bigger station, like the ones between Los Angeles and San Francisco, two of Tesla's biggest market, or the Bay Area, I should say. And there's a huge supercharger station, like 50, 100 stalls stations being planned there. And now you're starting to see a certain percentage of the stalls there being aimed at pulled through for trailers and trucks.
Yeah, and that's going to be an even bigger thing when the Cybertruck is at full production. Speaking of Cybertruck, this is a cryptic question.
Oh, no. That's a follow-up to the other question when you asked about the paint on the lower price vehicle. So you said, like the Cybertruck, there's no paint, just wrap. I don't know about that. I would assume that it's partly based on if that works out for the Cybertruck. We don't know yet if that's going to work out just great with the Cybertruck. If it does, maybe they do end up with some kind of. We're going to see some kind of like small, like hatchback, stainless steel hatchback from Tesla. That would be
That'd
nice.
be interesting. All right, and then just a follow up, Nick Cedar. What type of cell type, i.e., form factor? I think that's just a clarification of what we're talking about.
Yeah, well, I mean, most of the automakers still use the pouch. Pouch is still the main one being used, but there's more automakers that are talking about following Tesla with the 4680. So you might start seeing some of that soon.
All right, I think that's all for the questions.
That's all for us this week. I appreciate every single one of you. If you're still watching, thank you. We appreciate you. I'm going to see you same time, same place next week. If you do like the show, please give us a thumbs up, a like, whatever you do on your app, and we're going to see you in a week.